It's a two-parter. So one, in the physical stunting, right? The number one issue I see across the board, and it comes down to our bases, and it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Cheer Coaching Academy podcast on YouTube and all your streaming platforms. Today I have probably I would say today he is the most famous social media influencer when it comes to cheerleading stunts. He's the man behind all of our surprising success on TikTok and Instagram. The way he has explained and taught you guys these stunts and transitions and cradles, you guys have loved it. And so I had to have him on. We had to talk about it. So welcome my good friend and CCA contributor, Dom Vignali. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Chad. Thanks. Listen. Social media influencer. I'm just a nobody. I'm just trying to teach. I'm just trying to work with kids and athletes and teams and coaches to make them better. I wouldn't classify myself as a social media influencer, except I do show up to different choreographies and teams over the last couple of weeks, and I usually get 1 to 2. Oh my God, I've seen you on my TikTok. And I'm like, oh my God. So, these videos, they really, there's a need, and there's, they're really taking off, right? So, and that's exactly what we envisioned, back months ago when we were filming and getting these ready for the public. I'm so glad at the views and the likes and the shares that we're getting on those videos, and just being able to educate a wider range of an audience has been really fulfilling for me, and just watching that online has been great.
So, sometimes we don't choose our calling. Our calling calls us. And you might not think you're a social media influencer, but let me tell you that I've been putting out TikToks and Reels for about a year now. And it was just me, 200, 300 views on a good day. Cut to, we have a video with 1.2 million views, several thousand views, and they're all yours. So let's
well, what can I say?
Let's call it what it is.
No, I mean, the people want it. The people want to know how to stunt better. They want to know how to cheer better. They are passionate about our sport, and we're passionate. I know you are. We've had so many conversations offline that we're passionate to educate and to be able to teach and be able to reach the masses with not only my stunting videos, but Ashley's nutrition videos and our tumbling videos and our strength and conditioning videos and your leadership videos. It's been a whirlwind. It's been fantastic. I'm so proud to have partnered with you at CCA, and it's been great. And I love how all the athletes and the teams and the coaches are just really enjoying our videos.
I couldn't agree more. And you mentioned Ashley, so our paths crossed because of Ashley Steinberger, the cheer nutritionist. Mm-hmm. You did, as of today, an unreleased video. She still hasn't released it.
Interview, yes. I don't know where it went. I think she's been a little busy with her MLB team working for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right.
But we did do a interview back in, I believe it was March. It might have even been February. I think it was before my last state championship up here with my previous team. And we did an unreleased interview, and little did I know at the time that she, had this guy to edit the video together, and here comes you.
Yeah. She sent me that video. And I hearing you and hearing what you stood for, and I could feel your heart with what all you said, and I was like, this guy is what CCA is about. And I reached out to Ashley and I said, he mentioned that he did stunt clinics. And she said, yeah. I said, what do you think about me reaching out to him about doing our stunt videos? And she said, absolutely, you have to do it. So I did, and we talked a few times, and then you booked a flight.
Yeah. Yeah, Ashley's been a good friend of mine for many, many years now. We actually cheered together back in high school. For our viewers, you've seen me, talk about stunting, but you really haven't known much about me. You can follow me at Coach Dom Vignali on Instagram. But I'm Dom Vignali. I'm a Jersey boy through and through. Up here in New Jersey for my entire life. And Ashley and I cheered together at World Cup All-Stars, where I cheered for about 3 seasons and then coached there for over 10 years, 6 of those seasons being on the world staff of World Cup, where I brought and trained, my teams for the World Championships in the All-Star community. And that was a blessing. That taught me everything. A large portion of how I coach really was from my upbringing at World Cup. And then from there, I kind of transitioned more into the high school cheerleading world, where I started coaching Ridge High School out of Basking Ridge, New Jersey. I coached them for about 7 years. I just actually departed them back in March at the end of last season. Where, we won 7 state titles in 7 years. Yep. And then 1 national championship in 2021. And honestly, that team that won the national title, small varsity D1, so proud of those kids, so proud of those athletes that put so much into it, because that was part of that COVID year. And there was just a lot going on, any coach watching this video, that season was probably the toughest season you've ever coached in your life. And to be able to, see my kids and honestly watch them, see everything come together to win the ultimate prize of what they were chasing after, what they sacrificed, what they didn't go to a friend's house on a Friday night because, possibly, COVID and all that. And I can't believe we're still talking about COVID, but, all their sacrifice, just was fulfilled when we won that national championship. So, since then, now I've kind of, obviously partnered with you, and we're doing our stunt videos and our trainings with CCA, but also I do, stunt clinics and choreographies, and I mostly work with the high school cheerleading world, and really passionate about driving up high school cheerleading. Because for a long time, there's been a stereotype of high school cheerleading that, I want to be able to come in and do as much as I can, right? Be able to help, assist, coach, teach, athletes of all levels at the high school ranks to be able to elevate high school cheer. But yeah, that's been a little bit about me. I have a dog. Let's see what else personal wise. I have a Havanese, a small little Havanese, a little tiny thing. Her name's Lucy. Yeah, I love to travel. I love to travel as much as I can, but, outside of obviously my stunt clinics and choreographies, I'm also a guidance counselor. Can't believe I forgot that for a hot second. I'm a guidance counselor. I'm a mental health specialist, in a high school setting, where I work with, students every single day, preparing them for not only what high school brings, but what life's going to bring after high school, and what college is going to bring, or what a job is going to bring, or a trade school, a tech school. So there's a lot that goes into, my counselor side. And then as soon as, 2:30 hits during the weekday, I go get changed and I feel like I'm putting on a superhero costume to then go and coach stunts or go and choreograph a team. So it's really been fulfilling over the last couple months, kind of stepping away from my coaching and being able to go help and assist different programs.
You mentioned that you were a high school counselor, and I want to go ahead and tease this. I would say we'd wait till the end, but I may forget, and I don't want to not pay it off. You and I had talked about
Yes.
adding that aspect to Cheer Coaching Academy and how to help coaches deal with the mental health aspect of teenagers these days, which is it's incredibly difficult. Like, okay,
Yes.
I'm 44. I graduated in 97, and this is a different world than it was when I was in high school, and I had a hard time. I can't imagine what these kids go through every day with social media, online bullying, in-person bullying. Like it's tough, and not just from their peers, but from their coaches, which really gets under my skin.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that part of what we're going to be able to offer CCA members because, like I said, like it's a different world, and these kids need our help.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. First of all, we are definitely teasing. Our mental health videos will be coming online. Been a little bit of a busy season, with choreography season and clinics and all that. But our mental health videos will be, being produced and get out there to our, to our fans and get out there to our customers, who are purchasing our educational videos. But you hit the nail right on the head. I think the first and foremost thing that's so important that contributes to our mental health crisis in this country and across the world with our teens is social media. And social media can be a powerful thing, but it can also be a very destructive thing. We've seen the powerful aspects of social media over the last couple of weeks, right? Our viewers that are watching us right now, they have most likely have seen some of our stunt videos, some of your leadership videos, all our videos that we've been posting on TikTok and Instagram and all that. That could be the powerful thing. We can get the word out, which is great. But there's a darker side of social media, and I think I don't think we fully understand it at the moment. And I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I do think as a society, we don't fully understand how destructive it could be.
I agree. 100% I agree. The main thing about Cheer Coaching Academy is that we want to help coaches provide a safe environment. And part of that is learning how to deal with that outside world with their athletes and all that outside influence. It's dangerous. And it's dangerous to them, we just talked about COVID. Like their studies coming out now, and I'm sure you know this, that the effect that COVID took on the students by being shut out from their schools and their friends and their activities like that had a large effect on them right now. Yeah. And no one knew how to deal with that at the time. We learn something every day on how to handle this. And, but when it comes to the mental health aspect of it, I wish we would have been around then to help guide coaches through that.
I 100% agree. I was actively coaching my own program at the time during COVID, and it was challenging for me, a seasoned coach who's been coaching for 12, 15 years. So it was challenging then. I do wish that we had the education and the resources to be able to provide to coaches back then. But unfortunately, we can't go back in time, right? So how can we as a society and as coaches, right, be able to take that next leg forward, right? That next step forward on, being there for our athletes. All right. And the first thing I think is just being able to listen to our athletes. Our athletes know their bodies better than we do, right? They know, what they do a lot of the times better than we do. Okay. They know how they're feeling. They know what they're feeling. Okay. But sometimes coaches, and I hate to say this, and I've seen it, it's my way or the highway, and they're very, old. I don't want to say old school, but in a such a not so many words, they're in this old school mentality of not being able to listen to our athletes and just saying, hey, this is the way, this is our blueprint, we're following it to a T. And in this day and age, I really feel, and from my experience, it's more nuanced than that. We're living in an age that's a little bit different, and it contributes from social media and smartphones and being able to have every piece of information we've ever had in the entire existence of the world in the palm of your hand. I think is playing a huge part into it too with our teenagers and our athletes. So our coaches do need to, I think, step up and be able to listen to our athletes more rather than just be so strict.
Absolutely. The my way or the highway, that's how I coached for a long time because that's how I was coached.
Mm-hmm.
And, that leads us to why I wanted to create Cheer Coaching Academy, because I learned and developed over the years new ways of coaching.
Yep.
And I wanted to give back and help coaches who haven't gone through that yet, the chance to learn from my mistakes.
Yep.
So that's a big, or one of the big reasons why. So let's transition I don't know how to transition to this from that, but you have created a name for yourself and really, all honestly, put CCA on the map with the stunting videos on social media. So you've done stunt clinics all summer long with different high schools.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen this summer that athletes and coaches are still struggling with, and how have you been able to help them?
I think one of the things that I've been seeing is it's a two-parter. Like you mentioned, I've been I've been all over the country this summer, up and down the East Coast, and working with my different teams and programs that I really cherish. That they trust me to come in and teach stunts or be able to provide their routine choreography for the year. It's really been a blessing, and you can follow me again at Coach Dom Vignali on Instagram. I'm only on Instagram exclusively, some would say. Unfortunately, I'm not on TikTok, but so some of the things that I've been seeing, it's a two-parter. So one, in the physical stunting, right? The number one issue I see across the board, and it comes down to our bases, and it's our shoulders. Not being able to utilize our shoulders. Now, it could be a combo of some things, right? Are we strong enough to be able to do the stunt we're doing, right? Do we need to work on our strength and conditioning, right? Or are we just physically not understanding how to shrug through our shoulders and hold, a stunt through our shoulders? That's a lot of what I'm seeing when we go, when I go out and work with a team. The second thing I'm seeing a lot of is, and I don't know how to put this in a certain way. The thing I'm seeing a lot of is coaches and athletes being on the same page with skill level. Okay. In order to, and I'm a full believer in this, in order to progress, we must perfect, right? And I don't believe perfection is attainable whatsoever. However, we can be to a point where the skill can hit 10 out of 10 times, and then we can move on to that next harder skill. What I'm seeing is some teams, some programs, coaches, athletes are kind of jumping that progression system. And whether that be when they were at a summer camp, over the summer, or, whether that be in off-season training, maybe not with the coach there, but just athletes jumping in and kind of, trying to advance those skills higher and higher and higher and quicker. I feel like our coaches and our athletes need to get on the or be on the same page with what skills they are trying to accomplish this season. And when I work with a team and when I choreograph a routine, I know the skill level of the team will grow from when I work with them in August to when they compete for their either state championship or their, a national championship in the winter. I know it'll grow, but just to a certain degree. And I think what's happening is, we have hope in the future, right? And we have hope in our plan, but sometimes we have to kind of take a step back and view it from an outside window. And some teams have to be a little bit more realistic with skills as we're going forward.
One thing that I want to jump in and say is,
yeah,
if you're watching our videos and we put up, how to high TikTok,
yep,
that's and you want to do that, that's great, but don't jump to that. Work up to it. We're not putting them out for you to just immediately jump to that and say, let's try that.
Yep.
Because if you haven't progressed to that level and do the right progression, it's not safe. No matter how well Dom explains it, if you haven't progressed up to that, it will not be safe for you for your athletes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do have to, commend those coaches that do have, a certain level for their kids. And they really, are kind of strict about where they're at and, what kind of markers they need to see before they move on. So I've seen both, during my travels this summer. And it's been rewarding to jump into a team and work with a team to be able to assist with that, right? And to be able to kind of get everybody on the same page, whether that be the athletes, getting on the same page with the coaches, or the, coaches kind of understanding their athletes a little bit better from an outside point of view. I feel like that's one of the valuable lessons that I kind of try to teach when I go in and I work with a team, especially during my stunt clinics or skills camps that I offer. That's where I'm teaching skills. I'm jumping. Obviously, I'm going to teach what you want me to teach. However, I'm going to go through my progression system that I know that has worked in the past, my experience, and what's going to be safe for the athletes. Because at the end of the day, right, those athletes are going home to a house, with parents that love them, and we want to make sure they get home safely, right, and not have any injuries or any unexpected trips to the hospital, right? No concussions, no broken fingers, arms, legs, faces, bruises. We don't want any of that, right? So we as coaches always want to keep our athletes safe and our team safe. And I think that's one of the great things that we do at CCA is that we teach that progression system. And when you're in the module system, right, it goes progression by progression. And we've, there's some elite skills that we will be sharing relatively soon, a little tease there. I know we're getting some, requests for some skills. Don't worry. We are going to be, back in action. But yeah, it's something that I'm seeing when we're working with teams out in the community, out in the country.
Well, and that's a perfect example of working with safety. We weren't able to get to all the ones that we wanted to film.
Yeah.
Because, okay, let's pull the curtain back a little bit. It was a very long day.
Oh yeah.
We started at 9:00, and me and you didn't leave until what, 5 or 6?
I think, if I remember correctly, 6:00.
And this was in May.
It was a very, very long day.
And this was in May in the South. So it was hot.
Oh yeah. With Memorial Day weekend in Georgia, everybody.
It was, with no air conditioner in the gym. So it was hot. We were there all day.
Yes.
The girls we had stunning were absolute champs. They were amazing.
Phenomenal.
They came ready to work. They didn't complain one time. And we were getting toward the end, and we were trying certain skills that were on the more advanced level.
Yep.
And Dom and I just saw it, and it wasn't going to work. We didn't want to push it, didn't want to force it. And because we don't want to hurt anybody, much less somebody else's kids.
Of course.
And, that's how I'm sure you feel when you go work with these teams. Like, they're not your cheerleaders. They're somebody else's cheerleaders. So you don't want to push them and risk hurting them because they want to try certain things.
Of course.
So we had to be smart, and we had to keep their safety in mind. And no, we didn't get everything done that we wanted to, but we will. And they had a great time. They can't wait to come back if they can. And so I think that was done the right way.
Yeah. No, I think we played it perfectly that day when we were filming. Perfection over progression. We got to make sure things are looking good. And obviously we were filming stuff, and for our viewers, we did have some stunt falls here and there. It's cheerleading. We did have some stunt falls, and that's okay too. But we wanted to make it perfect for our viewers, for, our athletes and our coaches that are viewing our videos, on our social media platforms, and for, the full instructional video on our CCA platform. We were trying to make it perfect, and that's why it took so long that day filming, and that's okay, and we were happy to do so. But we definitely didn't get to those, super advanced skills, super elite skills, I should say. But we will be soon.
Absolutely. And even like going back and editing the videos, even though some of the ones that we put out there weren't perfect, they weren't picture perfect. But to me, it's like no team's gonna be perfect.
No. Like I mentioned before, right? I think perfection is impossible. It's impossible. I mean, we can be close to perfect, but in our sport, we've been, and I'm trying to kind of deprogram myself from this. We've been designed to find mistakes and to find flaws, and that's it's been troubling that we, as a sport, do that. Instead of celebrate our victories, whether that be a stunt staying up in the air. Okay, your hand was slightly in the wrong spot. That's okay. We can fix it the next time. But I think we point out flaws. For our viewers, if you want to go back to every single video and point out the flaws, that's okay. All right, we are all human. But our young ladies that were there that day, that worked their butts off for our viewers, they really put in the work, and I have to commend them. They were fantastic.
We couldn't have asked for a better group. Their skill level aside, like, they were incredible. A few of them were on the USA all-girl team.
Yep.
But their attitude and their work ethic, you never would have guessed that. And we were very appreciative of those ladies.
Yeah. They were great.
Very appreciative. So, where do you see stunting going forward?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Yeah. How much time we got? So, where do I see stunting moving forward? So, I see it, and I'm going to be bluntly honest here. I see a larger division between our super elite stunters and our stunters that more are at the beginner level. I don't see many in the middle. And I think because of the new, USA Cheer rules for the high school level, and USASF rules are changing all the time. We're seeing a really, really clearer divide between our super elite and our beginner. I'm afraid, I'm going to be honest with you, as a coach in the industry, that we might be going a little too far with our elite side of things. Making things legal at the high school level. I know, this year back handspring pull-ups are legal for high school. And that's a very difficult skill. And for the longest time, I know when you and I cheered, right, like those skills were college. Those were for adults. Now our kids are doing them. And the teams that are at the top that are hitting them, it's they're fantastic. All right. Don't get me wrong. They deserve to be doing those skills, but there's just a very, very clear divide from that, that elite class of stunting, and then to our like beginner class. And they, those beginners want to learn, they want to advance, but then there's just a wide range to get through before they get to that super elite.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the challenge should be in the creativity and pushing the creativity instead of
Yeah.
the skill further.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that. Well, man, we could talk all day. I love chatting with you. But we got to cut this thing short because here in a few minutes, my wife's going to bring my baby up here and
Okay.
time for bath time.
Gotcha.
So we will be interrupted. But man, so where can they tell us again where all they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Coach Dom Vignali. Maybe we can kind of put it down here somewhere.
Absolutely.
On the editing. But you can find me on Instagram. I try to make my Instagram page, as interactive as possible with the teams and the athletes I'm working with. I'm available for stunt clinics, for skills camps, for choreographies. I'm still in the middle of choreography season right now. Some states go a little bit later than others. So I'm still kind of working through some choreographies right now. And then we're going to gear up for cleanup season. If you're a coach seeing this and you're looking for a new set of eyes to view your routine, reach out to me. I have my cleanup calendar open right now for November and December. And then into January as well. And then before you know it, we're hitting regionals time. We're hitting nationals. We're hitting state championships, college natties, so, the season's honestly going to be here before you know it. And, this past summer, I don't know if I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but this is kind of my first full year working and consulting and working with different teams. Before that, I was just just a coach with my own team, with my own program. So it's been really rewarding this year. And again, if you're looking for cleanups, if you're looking for clinics, choreographies, I'm your guy. Reach on out either to me or, Chad's been fantastic at CCA, being able to pass off our teams to work with me. So it's been really great.
Go follow him on Instagram. And speaking of cleanup routines, go follow him on Instagram and look for his reel promoting that service. When I saw that, I thought that was so creative and so funny. I actually laughed out loud when I saw it. It was really, really good. That was good.
Thank you.
I was jealous.
Yeah, I thought of that idea, honestly, driving home from work. And I was like, how can I, get out there? And I'm not a huge social media guy. I'm just on Instagram. I'm not on anything else. And how can I, be a little funny? I like to bring humor to my coaching. So, yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know many other people texted me. They enjoyed it as well. So check it out. Let's just say I'm not that great cleaning around the house, but I will do an excellent job cleaning up your routine for you.
It was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Well, Dom, I really appreciate you taking the time and talking with us. And thank you for what you've put into CCA already. And we're excited about the future and what all we're going to do over the next year. And you guys will not be disappointed, I promise you.
Thank you, Chad.
Absolutely. Right. Well, guys, as I say all the time, legacy outlasts applause. So go impact somebody's life in a positive way today.